All right. So let's start today's session. So for today's session, we are looking at um, loops. Okay. So as usual, we have virtual environments, and then for our virtual environments, we already have it. So there's no need of me creating it again. Okay. So all that I need to do is to just come here because we are starting a new notebook today. So I will just come here and then I'll create a new notebook. So let's say the new notebook is what? Loops. Okay, loops.ip ipymb. Okay, I didn't bring the p. Ipymb. Okay, and this is it. So this will be our new notebook for loops. I hope that is clear now, right? So this is going to be
Please,
loops.
Darko, can you zoom it a little bit?
Sure,
Yeah.
like this.
Yeah, good. Excellent. Thank you.
Okay, so guys, so today we are looking at loops. Remember yesterday we did look at conditional statements, and I've showed you guys the assignment, which is this one. We have the assignment and everything was structured. All you need is to go through the information I've provided and then make sure for question one, you go through the user login system, how you can build a user login system. And then for question two, how you can build a ticket price by age and student status. And then also question three, how you can build an employee bonus calculation. Okay? All right. Everything is well structured for you. Just follow the assignment guide. Now, today we are looking at loops. And remember, we are still on control flow. Control flow, we have two stages. We have the first stage, which is conditional statements. And the second stage, which is what? Loops. So today we are looking at loops, right? And now, for us to work with loops, let me just go through some little guides for us. Okay. All right. So for the loop, we are looking at iterating over a range. We are looking at iterating over a string. So when we say iterating, what do we mean by iterating? Can anyone on the guest panel tell me what do we mean by iterating? Yes, mayor, intermediate, Ike. Do anybody knows what we mean when we say we are iterating? What does it mean?
Hello, sir.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it means like when you are done doing something, you can revisit it and let me say, keep going on and on and on until maybe you get a result.
Good. Who else again? Intermediate, Mike. Any contribution? All right. So
It's just
what?
more like
Yeah. Mhm. So yes, basically iterating is we are trying to go through each stage. We are trying to go through, and then until we get to our final stage. Okay. So we are going through repeating and all that. So that is how we do iterating when it comes to loops. And for instance, we are going to look at the range, and also we are going to look at in terms of strings, and that is the major things that will help you. And also we will look at what we call while loops, and then we will look at loop control statement. So for loop control statement, we will look at how you can break, we will look at how you can continue, and we will look at how you can pass. So we are saying that iterating is going through, but how do you break and how do you continue or how do you pass? So these are some of the logics. Yeah, repeating, that's good, Antoinette, repeating. So with these kind of things, how do you think you can break, you can continue, and you can pass? We'll look at all these things for today. And then we are going to look at the nested loops. In terms of nested loops, it's that same concept when we're dealing with conditional statements when it comes to nested what? Statements. Okay? Alright. So we are going to look at the same thing. And of course, we will be doing a lot of practical examples and common errors. Okay? As we do every day. Alright. So basically that is what we're doing today. Okay? And I believe that at the end of today's session, you guys will be able to get a lot of practical knowledge and a well and clear understanding when it comes to loops. Okay? All right. Because loops, conditional or control flow is very important when it comes to Python. and you guys need to understand this before you can even work with anything, whether data analysis or any AI stuff or even building softwares or programs. Okay? All right. So now let's start. So let me start by saying, okay, let's look at something like a range. Okay? Sorry, this is marked down. I need to get a code. Yeah. So let's look at something like a range. I click on code. I need to get a code. Range. I'm getting a plain text. Why? I'm changing the item. Okay. Yeah. So let's look at range. Okay, guys. So now we are looking at range, and for us to get to range, when we say range, basically all that we mean as a range is we are looking at something between something. So we could say 0, 1, or 5. So 5, we want the range of 5. So range of 5 will be, let's say, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 will not be included. So range is more like what is between that particular range and that we are looking for. So we can say we can do something like range of, let's say, 5. Okay. Oh, am I getting this? Okay. So we can say range of 5. Okay. Now, if we say range of 5, oh, I don't want it to hover. Okay. But the whole point is trying to tell us that, okay, you see how smart VS Code is. That's why I encourage you guys to use VS Code, because it will tell you range stop is greater than range object. So we start, we stop, we have. So within a range, we have start, we have stop, and we have step. We will look at that later. Don't worry. But what I want you guys to understand now is, if I say range of 5, okay, if I say range of 5 and I want to run, and I run this, I will get what? Wait, okay. Oh, sorry, I didn't select the virtual environment. Guys, sorry. I'm selecting the virtual environment else we can run. Okay, it's connecting. Okay, so we are connected. So do you see? So you are seeing that range of 5. I first want you guys to understand, when we say a range, it all means that a range of 0 to 5. Okay, within 0 to 5. So within 0 to 5, in Python, we always pick the index. So now we are saying that range of 5 is 0 to what? 5. So 0, that's why when you hover like this, you see that we have the start and then the stop. Okay, let's focus on this first two, the start and then the stop. So you see range, it starts from where and it stops where. Okay, it starts from where and it stops where. So it's telling you that if we say range of 5, it's going to start from 0 and end at 5. But because it's range, it will start from 0, 1, 2, 3, and then 4. All right, it will start from 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4, because 0 to 4, it will be in that range. Okay, so let's try and print using for loop. Remember, we are dealing with loops, so we are going to use what we call for loops. So let's try and print to see if we can get this range. I am saying that it's within 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and the 5 will not be included because we are dealing with range. Someone also said the screen is too big. Okay, yeah, I'm even having challenge here. Let me reduce it a bit. This should be okay, right? I think yesterday we used this. All right. So now range of 5, and now we are saying that the range of 5 is 0 to 5. All right. Now let's try to see how we can print this particular range values. Okay. Let's see how we can print this particular range values. So let's see. So now for you to print the range values, we are going to use what we call for loop. So we call it for loops. Okay. So we call it like this, for loops. Okay, so we are going to use for loop to do that. Okay, for loop. So now let me scroll down so we can see it well. So let's say for, so this is how we use for loop. Watch carefully. So for, let's say I, it can be any variable. I can say for A, I can say for B, I can say for P, I can say for golf, I can say for food. Okay, I can say for stew, I can say for ball. Okay, these are temporary variables. Take it, put it in mind. These are temporary variables. So I will say for I, okay, for I in range, sorry, typing, for I in range. And what is our range? 5. Currently, we set our range to be 5. So for I in range, 5. So for I in range 5, all that I'm saying here is that for I, these are temporary variables. Store these particular ranges in this variable for me. Okay, so what I'm going to do is for I in range, and we know we don't go about leaving our colon. Okay, so the same thing applies to when we were learning the conditional statements. When we say if 8 is greater than 18, then we bring the colon before we do anything else. Do not forget the colon, guys. All right. So we are saying that for I in range, okay, 5. So we are looking at this range. We are going to print at every range what is the value that this particular I is holding for us. So now we will say that what? Print, what are we printing? So what, those, my guest here, what do you think will be in the middle of this print function?
I.
I, good. So we'll put I here. So it's going to be for I in range, okay? Print I. So once I run this, what do you think will be the results? Anyone? Ima, intermediate, I, or mayor? Anyone?
Hello, sir.
What do you think will be the result?
So right
I
now
told you
I
guys this is
see
an interactive session. Mm-hmm.
so you don't have your double quotation
Sorry?
on your I.
Mm-hmm.
I thought when you say when you do print, you're supposed to do like print then in double column, then you put I.
Why you can't see? I have I have the colon there. Oh. For I in
Can
range, okay, print I. So this is it. Let me go back so you see. Can you see now? When I come here
I
and
mean
I
double
just say
quotation,
print
double quotation.
I. Okay, can you see?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Yeah, so I'm saying that what do you guys think will be the result when I run this code?
Yeah.
From 0 to 4, sir.
0 to 4. So let's run and see. Yeah. So do we see? So we are saying that, let me go up again. The range of 5 is 0 to 5. Okay. But that's 0 to 5 because it's a range we are looking at. And in Python, remember, just keep this in memory, in your mind. In Python, we always start with index of 0. Okay. That is why the range is picking the first index, which is 0. Okay, that is why we are seeing this 0 here. But you know, on a normal circumstance, we are saying that we are in a range which is supposed to be 1, 2, 3, 4, isn't it? But because Python understands indexes, so it's trying to index everyone. So it starts from index of 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So when you count, we are getting the range of 5, which is should be 5 values. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But Python starts from the index of what? 0. Let's keep this in mind. Yeah, range of 0 to range 0 to 4. Yeah, so that's also normal. Yes, that's correct. So that's how it works. Okay. Always remember Python starts index from 0. Python is different from other programming languages where it starts its index from 1. So Python starts its index from 0. The reason why I'm trying to repeat this is because when we are doing data analysis, you will see these kind of things. Okay, so let's take notes, guys. So for I in range, remember I told you This our I is just a temporary what variable that we want it to hold our values, which is the 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. All right. All clear. Those up here, is everything clear?
Yeah. I'm
All
taking
right. Let's move on to the next one. So now that we understand range, we understand for loop. Let's look at another example of for loop. Okay. So let's say, for instance, we want to. So let's say we want another different scenario. So let's say for I in let me set well for I in range. Okay. So let's say for I in range, we want it to be 1, 6. So you see, this is a different scenario. Okay. So we are saying that for I in range 1, 6, okay, and we want to print what I again. So what do you guys think will be? So now we are saying that here, we are saying that for I in range 1, 6, print what I. So what do you guys think will be the result? And where do you think, like, what will be our first value and what will be our last value? That's the key thing. Those up here. What do you think will be our first value and our last value? One. Someone said. Sammy said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay.
one,
And
two, five.
so honorable also said one to
Yeah,
five.
one,
You
five.
guys are all correct. But the one who said 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No. RM Giri, you are wrong. So the reason why you are wrong is because I did this time around we have specified our range, okay, which is 1 and 6. So let me show you something here. You see when I go up here, you see we are saying that we have start and we have stop, okay, and now we've told Python to start from this range, within this range, okay, it should start from 1. And remember I told you Python starts indexing from 0. So now our 0 will not be counted, it will start from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the 6 will not be included. Okay, so if we run this, we will get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, so you understand now. Good. So this is for loop, another scenario. Okay. So for I in range 1, 6. So with this, if we print our I, which holds the values that are in range, then we should get starting from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. Let's look at another scenario like let's say we have for I and give another one for I in range. We are dealing with range. Remember I told you we are dealing with range in terms of range. Remember the reason why I want you guys to be good in range is because we are iterating over a range. Now what we are doing is we are just iterating over a range. We will come to the situation where we will iterate over a string. Okay. All right. So you get the two differences. So now let's say, and we are working with for loops. So let's say for I in range, let's work with steps so you guys understand something. So let's say 10 comma 1 comma let's say -1, or should I use -1? No, that would be tough. Let me use two for now, then we come back to the negative. So what are we printing? Always we are printing our I. Okay. All right. Now we are saying that for I in range 10 comma 1 comma 2, okay, print I. Now we already know this, so I won't go back. So now what we are saying is the range is, oh, why? Because I've zoomed my screen, so mostly when I hover I get this, like, yeah, so don't worry guys. So so all right, so this, what I'm saying here is the range of 10 comma 1, okay, 10 comma 1, 10 is our start, 1 is our stop, 2 is the step. Let's take note. 2 is the step. So let's see something. Let's hover. See, start supports index. That is why I told you Python works with index, and it always starts with index of 0. Okay guys, please let's like the live and share for others to join. It always starts with index of 0. So now we are saying that the 1 is what? The start, the 10 is the stop, and then the 2 is the what? Is the step. So what step are we? What the step means is that when we start looping or when we start iterating, we want the machine or the computer to at every step add 2. At every step, 2 steps. 2. So you see, if we are starting from 1, so from 1, what's the next step, please? And who can help us? Same, Ike, Iman. From 1, what will be our next step that we think we will get, the program will give to us? What will be our next step? So we are saying that we are
So,
starting from 10. And
so
from 10, no, I don't want to make it complex. So let me make this one 1. Okay? And let me make this one rather 10. I think I switch it. So we are saying that we are starting from 1. Now from 1, what will be our next step? Which we are saying that our step is 2 steps. So what will be our next step? And where will we get to? Yes, anyone here? Yes. Jemima 3, Honorable 3, Rigi 3, Sami 3. Yeah, I think you guys are all correct. All right, that's good. So our next step, so it means we are going to print what? 1, 3, and from 3, our next step will be what? Step of 5, 2. So it will be 2 plus 3, 5. From 5, our next step will be what? 5 plus 2, which will be what? 7.
okay.
From 7, our next step will be what? 7 plus 2, which will be 9. Now, see, we said our stop is what? 10. So we end where? 10. So our stop is 10. It means that automatically we are going to reach 9. We will not go any other further iterating. So let's run. All right. So let's see if we are correct. So you see 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. Okay. So it tells you that for I in range 1, 10, 2, the 1 is our start, where we want our range to start or our iterating to start. And for our iterating to start, we are saying that Python start from this. If I have done something like this, it will be different ball game altogether. You see? So if I do something like this, then Python. We know Python, you deal with index of 0, but this time around, I'm being specific. Start from 1. So automatically, when Python is indexing, it will start indexing. Index of 0, index of 1, which it will pick this one. That is why you are always seeing the 1 started. Okay? But the moment I remove this 2, and I remove this 1, and I tell Python to print this, who knows? It will start from where? 0. You see? All right. So I always tell you, Python deals with what? Indexes. So we understand this. Let's look at another scenario, another example. Okay? Because for loops, you need to understand different kinds of what? Scenarios and better have understanding. So let's look at for I in range, for I in range, sorry, range is a method function. So for I in range 10, okay, comma, let's say 1, comma, now let's use the negative. So we see. And let's print. Okay. Let's print the I. Okay. So now we are saying that for I in range 10, comma 1, comma negative 1. Okay. So now do you see what I'm saying? What I'm doing here is I wanted to start from the back, from the end, and not from the beginning. That's the whole point. Previously, we were starting from the here, but now I want the code to start from the back. That's why I'm using negative 1. Anytime you use negative, it means you are telling Python to start from the back and not the beginning, or start from the end and not the beginning. Okay, so let's see something. So you see, the same thing, the start, the stop, and then the step. Okay, and I'm saying that return an object that produces a sequence of integers from start to stop, exclusive by step, blah 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 blah. Okay, but this is the general rule here. But our new code here will start from the end. So let's see. You will see that it will start printing It will start printing 10 now. This time around, 10 will be included. It will start printing 10, 9, 8 because our step is what? 1, -1. Do you see our step now? It's -1. So our step is -1, meaning what? It should be reducing negative. So from 10, it reduced to what? -9. Sorry, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. You understand? So we are saying that at every run or at every iterating or at every iteration, reduce it by 1. So our step is now going to be negative. So that's why I'm saying that it will start from the end and start reducing this 10 that we have. So this time around, our index is going to start from here. So let's check. So you see 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. And we are not indexing 1. Okay? Alright. Because when we minus, we're not going to get anything. So we don't get a result. All right. So this is one of the scenarios that we also want. Also want you guys to understand. Let's look at another scenario. If you have any question, you can ask whilst I go up. I go on. So let's look at another scenario. Let's say still on for loop. So for I in range, okay. For I in range, let's say same. Let's say 10 comma 1 comma, let's use -2, which this one should be clear, right? So let's print I. Okay, so this one we should know the result, isn't it? So you see 10, 8, 6, 4, 2. So this time around is going to be -2. Previously it was what? -1. But this time around it's -2. Alright? Now let's look at another scenario. Let's look at another scenario where we are going to deal with strings. Okay, so this time around we are going to look at strings. So now you know how for loops are. You see how we set or declare for loops for I in range. And remember I told you the I can be anything. It's just a temporary variable that holds the values in range that we want to print out. And also when we iterate or when we loop over, we want to get those values and we store those values in a variable as a memory. Okay, so now we are moving on to this one, which is iterating over a string. Okay, all right, let's look at how we can iterate over a string. All right, okay, so let's say for instance, now we know string. Remember in our previous session I said str string. Okay, so let's say string is assigned to let's say, sorry, let's say then is Darko. Okay, so now let's say string is assigned to Dennis Darko. Okay, so if string is assigned to Dennis Darko, then let's try to iterate over this particular string. So let's see how it works. So for I in str, so you see the way I define it. I'm saying that for I in str, it means that for any value, that value could be integer or string, but currently our value will be string, isn't it? And we are saying that for any value in this particular variable, guys, are you getting the concept? For any value here that you are storing here in this particular variable, then I want you to do what? I want you to print that value, which is I. That's the whole concept, guys. For we are saying that we have assigned string to be Dennis Darko, and we are saying that for I in string, that is for any value that this particular temporary variable holds in this particular string. So any value that this particular I holds is coming from here. Okay, so first it will begin to hold the D. It will begin to hold this D, and then it holds the E, it holds the N, it holds the N, it holds the I, it holds the S, it even holds the space, the D, the A, the R, the K, the O. Okay, All right. So for I in string, print I. So let's see the result. Who could tell me the result? There's those here. Or those are the comment section. You can also type. What will be the result,
Yes, sir.
guys? How will the results be? Mm-hmm.
Your name will be spelled out.
Your
Dennis
name will
Darko.
be. Mm-hmm.
Dennis Darko will be spelled out.
Okay. All right. So would there be a space when it's spread out?
One.
Would there be a
Yeah,
space
it
when the
will be
names are spread out?
DEO.
Sorry, Mayor?
Yeah, it will be spaced one by one.
Okay, that's good. So let's run and see. All right. So you see, guys, we've spread the next out, and the space is also included. And then like this. Let's see if we close the space. Okay, what will happen? So you see, no more space. So it tells you that the space is also stored in value in the variable string. So that's why we are saying that for I in range, in string, sorry, for I in string, print I. So when we are iterating, okay, when we are looping or iterating, we will be checking. So the first value which we want to hold, we want this string to hold is D. Then we iterate, then it stores in this particular template. Currently, this string is holding the entire value here. But for now, we want to iterate over each. And in the process of reiterating over each, we want to be printing out each value. That is why we are having a temporary variable here. It could be any name. It could be let's say Ike. Okay. So for Ike in string, let's see, it will be the same thing. So you see, Ike is given as 0000000. So it tells you that we cannot use Ike. So most of the time we use one. So it could be K like this. We don't use more than one letters. So let's say K. So you see, so it tells you that mostly we are iterating. So it's a keyword in Python. These are some of the things I want you guys to take note. Okay, there are some keywords in Python you cannot forget. Okay, so I, that's why I'm using I. Then we get it right. Look. So these are some of the little dynamics. Okay, unless you define and then you use it, or you declare and use it. Else, because we've not declared, we cannot use any other temporary variable name unless I. All right. Now let's look at another example. Okay, let's look at what we call for loop. Sorry, while loop. So while loop. We've done for loop. We've looked at for loop in terms of range and then string. Now we are looking at while loop. So when we say while loop, so while loop is
Yes, sir.
basically um, you want to continue to execute as long as the condition is true. That's the whole point about while loop. You want to continue to execute as long as as long as the condition is true. So when you set your condition and you use while loop, the while loop will continue to execute as long as that particular condition has been met, okay, or the condition is true. Okay, so what we
Okay.
will do here is, let's say we want to count something, and that something we will increase it by one, or we will count plus one. Okay, so let's do an example. So let's say count is assigned to zero. So here we've set our count to be zero. It means we will start counting from zero. Now let's use while loop. While, okay, while count, now you know this thing. While count is less than, okay, 5. So let's say while count is less than 5. All right. So while count is less than 5, let's print count. Okay, let's print this first. So now we are saying that count 0 while count is less than 5, print count. So you could see that it will start printing from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. It will not get to 5. So you see, we can use while loop to still perform tasks that we were using for loop. So when I run this like this, oh, why is my code? I think my memory is. Let me restart my kernel. Okay. Let's save. Let's save and then let's close it. Save. I think the kernel is trying to hold us down. Okay. I think it should work now. Start this kernel. Okay. You can see, guys. Okay. So let me try and then run this again. Let me try and okay. And then let's run this again. Oh. Okay, okay. I get a logic. I get a logic. Do you know why I have not set the count where it should get to? So for instance, you see, count is 0, one count less than 5, print count. So it will be going. So let's end it. Let's say count is assigned to count plus 1. Okay, let's stop. Let's rerun and see. So you see, if I didn't set this, it will continue to iterate. You understand? Yeah. So you say someone said, I think you need to interrupt it. Yeah. So I needed to interrupt it to stop, else it will continue. So I was thinking to I forgot it's not my kernel. So I restarted the kernel and then quickly. So you could see I just need to set this condition here and then we could get that. So remember I told you the while loop continue to execute as long as the condition is true. Okay, so it ends. So you could see that it's less than 5. So count is equal to count plus 1. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's it. All right. All right. So this is how while loop is, and it's very simple. While loop is not difficult. It's very simple. So count is equal to 0. While count is less than 5, print count. So you use while loop a lot in terms of sometimes you don't want to use for loop where you have to be doing a lot. So you use that while loop. But let's look at some loop some breaks. Okay, let's look at some breaks. So let's look at some breaks. Okay, so basically a break is a statement that exists to loop prematurely. So permanently. You understand? So it's going to loop permanently. So let's say for instance we say for I in range. Okay, so let's say for I in range, let's say our range is 10. Okay, now we understand range. So now let's set a condition. Sorry, I didn't bring the colon. So let's set a condition. Let's say if I, which is the temporary variable we want to hold, if I is equal to 5, this time we are not assigning it, we are rather saying it's equal to 5. Okay, so if I is equal to 5, then break. So you see the keyword. So we are saying that break statement exists the loop permanent. So we are saying that for I in range, if I is equal to 5, break. And if we break, we want to print I. It's very simple. So for I in range, now we understand this, right? We are saying that there is also a conditional statement which we know already. So for I in range, if I is equal to 5, then break. Just take a break. So let's print. So let's go through. For I in range, so our range is what? 10. So it means going to start from 0, 1 up to 9. Now, if I, so 1, so let's start counting. So our first I will be 0. Is 0 equal to 5? Is 0 equal to 5? If 0 is equal to 5, we break. Then we go again. I is in range 2. So we pick the first one, the second one, 1. Is 1 equal to 5? No. We continue loop iterating. We move to the next one. 2. Is 2 equal to 5? No. We continue iterating. So you see, we continue to iterate before we get to where we will say 5, where we get temporary variable to be 5 is equal to 5. If 5, this here will be 5. So if 5 is equal to 5, then we break. We don't continue. You guys get a concept? Someone say no. Intermediate. Why no? Any question? Any issue? So I'm saying that already we know the range, okay? We are saying that for range in Python, we start from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That is the basic rule that we think when we just run this. So let me do this. If we run this, we are going to get 0, 1, 2, 3, up to 9, isn't it? See, we are going to get up to 9, right? We are going to get up to 9. And now I'm saying that we want to set a break. Oh, TikTok too. They said they've detected inactivity, so I have to do something. Okay, guys, please comment, like, and share, because when we are not doing something, TikTok will send me a message that he has detected some inactivity. Meanwhile, we are doing something. All right. So now, all that I'm saying is that you see, when we print this, we are going to get 0 up to 9. We know this already, right, guys? But we are saying that for loops in Python, for loops, you can break. When we are iterating, we can break. And in terms of breaking, we can put this one here. And we are saying that if I is equal to 5, then we break. It means that when we are iterating over this range, and we get to where our temporary value is 5, and that particular 5 is equal to 5, then it means we break. We don't continue. We will look at continue later. We break, we don't continue. So if I run this, it will end here. It will not display all this for us. Okay, it will end from here to the 0. So let's see. So you see, we get 0 to 4 because 5 is equal to 5. So the program will break down. It will not continue. All right. Now let's look at continue. Okay. So you get a different. So let's look at continue. So you see how I'm trying to make you understand the loops. So let's look at continue. So continue is simply the continuous statement skips the current iteration. Okay, that's what I'm trying to do. My hands like this. It skips the current iteration and continues with the next. Okay, it skips the current iteration and continues with the next. So let's see an example for I in range. Okay, for I in range 10. Okay, for I in range 10, what are we saying? We are saying that if let's say I modulo 2, okay, if I modulo 2 is equal to 0, okay, then continue. This time around we are not breaking. Continue. And when you continue, print that particular value, which is I for us. Oh, sorry guys. Continue. Okay. So we are saying that for I in range 10, okay. Oh, most people have requested. I've not seen. Please, I'm accepting you guys. If you want to join, you can request and come up. Okay. All right. So for I in range, okay. For I in range, I mostly have to look here because when you request, I have to accept you. Okay, let me accept Captain. Okay. So for I in range 10, okay, which we know this already. If I modulo 2, can anyone here explain what we mean by modulo? Can anyone here, intermediate, Captain Roy, Mayor? Okay, so it's all about modulo, it's all about division. Okay, So you're saying that if the value divided by 2 is equal to 0, then continue. Yeah, some Antoinette just wrote it there, remainder or
The
division.
value,
Yeah. So
like
if I modulo 2 is equal to 0, okay, so modulo 2 meaning if I modulo 2, the remainder is equal to 0, then continue.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so now let's see.
Can you hear me?
Assuming, as usual, we didn't bring this. I always want you guys to know the test before we put it. Assuming we didn't bring the continuum, okay, to, you see, we will still get all of them, 0 to 9, isn't it? Because our range is 10. Now, let's bring it. Now, if I modulo 2, which is the remainder, once it goes through, it iterates through this range, is equal to 0, then we continue. So it will continue to be skipping, okay? It will continue to be skipping. I need to accept someone. Ola, okay. All right. So now let's see how it works. Ola, mute yourself. Let me mute you. Okay. So this is how it works. So when I run, you see, so let's understand the result. For I in range, we are starting 10. So 0. Is 0 modulo 2 equal to 0? We don't bring it. A 0 is 1 modulo 2, so it skips. It skips. So we are saying that the continuous statement skips the current iteration. It skips the current iteration and continues with the next. So what was the current iteration? The current iteration was 0. So it skips the 0, continues with what? 1. And when it's done with 1, the current iteration will be what? 2, isn't it? It will skip 2 and go with 3. The current iteration will be 4. It will skip 4, go with 5. You see? You see, guys? All right. So that's how it works. And this is the continuum. Okay? Let's look at another one, which is pass. So today we are looking at different scenarios. Let's look at pass if our loop passes. Okay? So when we say pass, it means that the pass, this time around, let me write for you guys. The pass statement is a null operation. Okay? The pass statement is a null operation. Okay? It does nothing. It doesn't do anything. It does nothing. And for us to be able to understand the pass statement, let's say for I in range, okay, for I in range, let's say 5. Let's make it simple. For I in range 5, okay, if I is equal to 3, okay, that's our condition we are setting. If for I in range 5, if I is equal to 3, what do? Let's pass it. Okay, then we do what? We print them. Oh. Once we pass it, then we print. Oh, good. Then we print. We print what? I. Alright. So now we are saying that for I in range 5, if I is equal to 3, pass, print I. Who can explain this for me? Those of you guys here, who can explain this for me? Who can explain this for me?
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Which means when it will count maybe 1, 2, it will skip 3,
Mm-hmm.
then 4, 5.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, just a placeholder. It does not return anything. That's good. So you see? So now, when we run like this, so it's just going to be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's just a placeholder. It does nothing. That's why we are still seeing this here. Okay? When we remove this, like, oh, sorry. When we remove this like this, and we print, okay, we still get the same thing. So we say pass doesn't do anything. It does nothing. Okay?
So then why is it there?
Yeah, it's there because sometimes we need to, as I said, we need to have a statement where in a particular program, okay, for instance, we are working on a web application. You need to have that kind of placeholder where you can pass and be able to understand how the program is trying to run. But it does nothing. But sometimes it helps in terms of checking certain things. You understand? So you just have to make sure, depending on the program, you can set that condition there. So you can say this is the condition, it should pass. Okay? Or you can decide not to set anything. But it's good you set a condition so that you always know the program passes. And then once it passes, it does nothing. There won't be any error and all that. Okay? All right. Let's move on to which one? Which one? Okay, let's look at the last one. Let me go and check my structure.
Hello,
Yeah.
sir.
Yeah.
I really didn't understand the break and continue.
The break. Okay, so our last one will be nested loops. Okay. Let me go to the break. This is the break. So where didn't you understand, please?
I said they no, they continue.
The continue. Okay, this one. So I'm saying that the continue is just like, how do I put it? It skips the current iteration. So you see, the current iteration automatically when we run this for loop, okay, we know we are going to start from zero, isn't it? Are you with me, Mayor?
Yes, sir.
Good. So if we are
Yes,
going to
sir.
start from zero, what will be our current iteration?
It will be from one to
No,
nine.
no. It will be from, mute yourself. You are giving us feedback. It was our current iteration. I always tell you Python has start
Zero
with
to
index
nine.
of zero. Okay?
Zero to
So
nine.
our current iteration will be zero.
Yes, sir.
You understand? So that iteration, the current iteration will be zero. We skip that, then we go to one. Our next iteration, which will be current, will be two. We skip it, we go to three. You see? So that's the work of the continuum. Okay? And if you use this logically when you are doing something and you feel like you need to iterate and you don't need a specific value, then you can use the continuum to be skipping them. You understand? So you see what Dennis wrote there. First iteration is 0/2. Okay, so it's zero, you skip. So the next one, which is zero, so we continue. So you continue like that. So zero, you skip, you go to one. Okay, so the next one will be two, you skip, you go to like that. Okay, all right. So let's look at
Yes, sir. I understand now.
okay, let's look at the last one, which is the nested loop. Okay, so let's look at the last one, which will be nested loops. Okay, nested loops. Okay, so we are looking at nested loops. So for nested loops, what we need to understand is a loop is basically a loop. Okay, a loop inside a loop. And now we know loop, we know how loop we deal with loops. So nested loop is more like the nested conditions that we did earlier on yesterday. So a loop inside a loop. And for you to set a loop inside a loop is pretty easy and simple. You just have to understand the flow going from top to down. So let's say for I, okay, always for I in range. Okay, let's make it simple by 3. Okay, so for I in range of 3, okay, and let's do another nested. So you see nested loop. Remember yesterday we did nested conditions and you saw how I structured. So this time around I'm using the high level one. So that's why you are seeing I'm not going to set them. I'm setting my conditions first before I do anything else. So for I in range 3 and then also for J in range, for J in range, let's say 2. Okay, for J in range, let's say 2. What are we printing? We are printing, what should we print? So what are we printing? We are going to print first I and then also J. But because I don't want to repeat or I don't want to repeat the print. What I can do is I can say, I can put it in something like this, in a string, okay? And then I will say that I colon, okay? And then within the colon, I can bring something like this. So all that I'm doing here is, I don't want to repeat the print. I could have printed the first one, but for us to do a nested loop, this is how we do it. You first, on high level, you say for I in range 3, for J in range 2. So these are conditions we are setting. Okay, that is why we say control flow. We are controlling the flow of the program. And for our program, we are saying that for I in range 3 and for J in range 2, okay, we print I, okay. So first we print the I, which will be I, this one. And then when we are done, we want to at the same time print, okay, and at the same time we want to print the J, which is also the same thing. And then we bring this thing, okay, and we will be good. So we will print the J as well here. So you see, I could have just removed this like this, and then remove all this, and then put only the I as we have been doing previously. But this time around, I want to show you a different one where we can print these two conditions in one print statement. Okay, guys. So once I run this like this, we should get for I values and we should get for J values. See? So for I values, we are getting this, and for J values, we are getting this. So we are saying that for I in range 3, for J in range 2, print blah blah blah. So these are nested loops. Nested loops. And that is, it's very simple. It's more like how we did the nested conditions. So if anytime you are working with a program, try to use nested loops, which will help you. You don't have to be repeating yourself so many times in your code or your program. All right. So now we are done with the loops, the control flow for loops, okay? But let's say we want to do a typical test or a practical test. So let's do some practice. I want to do one practical example for you guys. Let's say um, let's say we want to calculate the sum of first n numbers, okay? Let's say we want to calculate the sum of first n numbers, and the sum of first n numbers. Let's make it natural numbers. Do you guys know natural numbers, right? Or you don't know natural numbers? They're just the normal numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's say we want to calculate the sum of the first n numbers, n natural numbers, using a while loop, okay? Using a while and for loop. Okay, let's do this. So let's say we want to calculate the sum of the first n natural numbers using the while and then what? The for loop. Okay, so with this example, all that we need is, first we need to declare our natural numbers. So always do this. First you need to declare the natural numbers, okay? And then the natural numbers will be what? N is equal to, let's don't go further higher, so let's say n is equal to 10. Okay, so this will be our natural numbers, n. Now the next thing is, we are saying that we want to calculate the sum of the first n natural numbers. So the sum, so here we need to have the sum, and for us to have the sum, let's initialize it to 0. So sum is equal to 0, or assign it to 0 is the same thing. Okay, it's just the image. So now we are saying that we want to calculate the sum of the first n natural numbers, and we are saying that using while or for loop and for loop. And now we want to declare the natural numbers, and then now once we are done declaring, we sum the sum, we assign it to 0, or we initialize it to 0. Okay, now what we want to understand here is our next thing is we are going to use while and for loop. So we need to count something so we can get a sum, isn't it? Good. So let's count. Count is assigned, sorry, it's assigned to 1. Okay. So when we count is assigned to 1, then we can, let me remove this. So then we can say that now we've declared our variables in terms of initializations. So we've declared the natural numbers to be 10. We've initialized sum to be 0, and then we want to count. Our count should start from 1. So now all that we need to do is bring up our while loop. Okay. So while what? While the count, sorry, while the count, because our natural numbers is 10, so we need to use less than. Okay. So while the count is less than or equal to the n, you see, while the count is less than or equal to the n is 10. These are our natural numbers. And our natural numbers, we are saying that while the count, when we are counting, when we are iterating, okay, while the count is less than or equal to the n numbers, which is the natural numbers, okay, what do we do? We want to sum. So this is where when we move forward to do functions, you understand this. So this is where we are going to do the calculation. So we are saying that while count is less than or equal to n, sum is equal to sum plus what? The count. So what do we mean? We are saying that while we are iterating with this condition, count is less than or equal to this 10, this sum, we are saying that we need a sum again, but the sum should be equal to this sum, 0 plus the count. The count will be from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, up to this 10, the natural number. Okay, all right. So now we will say that, okay, then let's iterate and let's put a stop. So we say count
It's not clear.
equals
Oh,
to
it's not clear.
count. You can't hear me? So count
No,
plus
we
2.
don't understand the sum plan.
Oh, so this is just a different
Plus count.
variable. Okay. So I'm saying that, so let's start again. I'm saying that we want natural numbers. We want the sum of the first natural numbers. Okay. And now we've declared our natural number. So declare natural numbers. Okay. We've declared the natural numbers here. Okay. And we've initialized our sum to be 0. Okay. Initialized sum to be 0. Okay. Now we've declared the natural numbers, initialized our sum to be 0, and now we start counting from 1. You get it clear now? We declare the natural
Yes, sir.
numbers, we initialize the sum to be 0, then we start counting from 1. Okay. And now,
Say, are you
so
saying
I'm listening.
are you saying that you said sum is a placeholder? Are you saying we can just say addition is equal to sum plus count?
Sorry, I don't get your voice. Can you? Mhm.
You said the sum over there is a placeholder.
If you say placeholder, I don't get it. It's more like we are initializing. We are initializing to start from 0. Our sum is initialized to 0. So
No, sir, you said sum is equal to sum plus count.
you said
You said sum is equal to sum plus count.
okay, okay. You are referring to this. I thought you
Can
are
we
here.
say
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
can we say addition is equal to sum plus count?
Yeah, we can say addition. We can use something like this. It's still work. It's just a
That
variable.
is what got me confused.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, we can say okay, okay, it's fine. Okay, addition is equal to sum plus count. Okay, then we say count is equal to count plus 1. So it means at every stage we are increasing this count plus 1. Okay, so it means that first is count less than or equal to 1. Is count less than or equal to the n 10, If it's less than or equal to 10, so we will start from 0. So 0 is 0 less than or equal to 10? Yes. So if 0 is less than or equal to 10, then 0. So the sum is going to be sum, which is sum. So 0, here will be 0, okay? 0 plus the count. So 0 plus 1 is 1. So 0 plus 1, so 1. So then we go again. Okay, then from there, don't end there. Continue to count plus 1. So let's run and see. Hey, sorry, I didn't print. We didn't print our result. Print, let's say, sum of first 10 n numbers. Now we know n numbers, which is natural numbers. Okay. Then we say comma the sum. Sorry, we remove. So it's going to be addition. So you see, we are saying that, you let me remove this because I want it to be explanatory. So we are saying that while count is less than or equal to n, addition, sum plus count. Count is equal to count plus 1. Print, sum of the first 10 natural numbers is addition. So this is the result that we want to print, because the result is here. The result will be here. We will get the result from here. This will help us to be iterating, okay? And this is the condition we have set. That is why we are saying that for conditional statements, we have if, else, while loop, for loop, and all that. And we call them control flow. And for the control flow, we are dealing with while loop, okay? And for the while loop, we are saying that while this condition is true, or while we meet this condition, continue to do the calculation here for us. And when you are doing the calculation, don't stop. Continue to count it plus 1 until you get to where it meets this particular condition. Okay, guys? So that's why we are saying print the sum, then we put the addition in because we want this result. Okay? So when we run, so the sum of the first 10 n numbers is 10. So we've summed all of them. It's what? 10. Okay? The sum of the first, so let's say so it will count, go through and then to say, oh, the sum of the first 10 n numbers is what? 10. That's it. Assuming we place here sum like this, we just have to change here. You see it is asterisk, you just have to change and say sum like this, and then we should get different scenario. You see, the sum of the first 10 n numbers is 55. The reason why we are seeing different is because now we are referring to the sum, this initialization. But when we change to a different variable, we are not referring to the initializer. Okay, so that's why we are seeing different results, because we are saying that we have initialized the sum to be 10. Then when we do the condition and then we count the total, we iterate, then automatically we should get the results, which is the same sum here. So you can switch it to any variable you want, and then you will get these natural numbers, the total. Okay, all right. Let's look at. Should we do? Let's say for instance, the n. Okay, let's say for instance the n was 10 as we did earlier, and then let's say the sum was 0 again. Now let's use for loop. You know, we use for loop. Let's use for loop. So for loop will be for I in range. Okay, for I in range let's say 11. Okay, for I in range 11. All we need to do is what? Say sum is equal to sum plus I. Where's the I? So here, all that we are trying to do is the same concept from here, but this time around we are just saying that sum is equal to sum plus I. The I will be the temporary value here that the range is giving us. Okay, and then based on that, we should be able to print the sum. We should be able to print the sum. Okay, so once we print the sum here, we should get the same 55. You see, we are getting the same here. Okay, we are getting the same 55. But this time around, we are setting the range to be 11 because we want a temporary store so that we can get the exact 10. If we set here to be 10, we will get different result, not 55. You see? But because we want to get the same result from here, because we set the first n numbers and we initialize the n to 10. So for that, we declared the variable to be 10. So here should be 11, so we can reduce it and get to the range of 10. So 0, 1, 2, 3, up to 10. So then 11 will not be included. And based on that, we should get 55. So you can use for loop like this, and you can use
And
while.
listen,
Yep. Yep.
why
Go
did
ahead. Go
we for
ahead.
the for loop? Why did we not use a count equals to count plus?
So this time around we are using for loop. So it's different. The reason why we are not using count is because while loop we are using while loop and we don't want it to be loop running. Okay, iterating. No, it will not stop. If I remove this count, okay, the program will continue to run, but we don't want it to stop. That's why,
Hmm.
yeah. So it should work. Okay. So that's why this time around, instead of plus the for loop, we are saying that no, we want the temporary variable. Okay. So the temporary variable will be the sum, this one, 0, and then we set it to 10. And then we are saying that from the range, so 0 to 9, 0 to 10, sorry. And then the temporary variable will be the sum, which is 0. So here it will be 0 plus I, which will be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, order. And then it will find the total or the sum and then give it to us. Okay? All right. I think we've done so many examples. Let's do another example like this. Let's do one last example. Let's say, um, let's say we want to print prime numbers. Prime numbers. Okay. Let's say we want to print prime numbers between 1 and 100. Okay. So of course, definitely our range is going to be 101, isn't it? Our range is going to be 101. So let's say we want to print prime numbers between 1 and 100.
I have a question.
Okay, okay.
Okay, sorry. In the for loop, why do we have to initiate n to 10?
Yeah, so the initializer is going to help us to be able to know where we want to start.
Okay.
Okay, so we are saying that if we remove the initializer like this, okay, now we will not need this sum because we don't know this particular sum. You see, if we run like this, you see it will be different, right? So it's just going to be the sum. It will come and pick this sum again. We don't know it. So we want to initialize to 0, whereby we want the code to start from 0. So it doesn't. The reason why we initialize it will help you in any code when you initialize something. It means you are right. You are telling the program to specifically start from somewhere. Please, do you understand?
Okay. Okay, so when we initialize our n to be 11, then we use it as for I in range n.
Sorry. Mm-hmm.
I said, can we initialize our n? That
Mm-hmm.
is the natural number to be 11.
11.
Then now
Okay.
say for I in range n.
Okay. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so is it appropriate like this?
Yeah. We can also do it like this. We still get the same result.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It's just the reversal approach. You understand? Is that the same thing?
All right. All right. Thank you.
Yeah. So n is equal to 11. The sum initialized to 0. And then for I in range n, which is just this, is just the variable you've declared here. And you are trying to, instead of you placing 11 here, you're rather telling it to pick this variable, which is still the 11 here. You understand?
Okay.
So it's going to look through this n, which is a variable here, holding this value 11. And this value 11 is in range. So it means 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, up to 10. And then for Python, it starts from the index of 0. So it means that for I in range, so this is our temporal variable, okay? That is going to hold the values from the range. You get it? So when we say for I in range n, it means that the program is going to look for, is going to iterate through the n values. So currently we have in our program, we've stored these n values, which is 11. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We stored it here. But we specify a condition that for I in range, so here becomes our condition. Okay? Go through this n. Go through this n, get us the values, okay? But the values start from 0. And when you start from 0, get us each value, and then each value, store it here. And then when you store it here, we want it to be sum plus the value, which is the 0 plus that particular value you are storing. And then when you are done, print the entire sum for us. You get the logic?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So let's do one last example, then we'll be done for today. So let's look at prime numbers between 1 and 100. Okay, so let's say for instance, let's say for let's declare, so it's for n. So this time around we are using a temporary variable inside our loop. So let's say for n in range, okay, for n in range, okay, so we are saying prime numbers 1 to 100, so 1,101. Okay, so we are saying that prime numbers between 1 and 100. So for number, which is the numbers, the temporary numbers in range 1, 100, okay, if the temporary number, okay, is greater than 1. So if the temporary number is greater than 1, okay, then what do we do? For the I in range, okay, in range of 2, the number. So now we know 2, the start, okay, comma the number. What do? We want to also set another condition where I will explain, don't worry, I will explain.
Okay.
I will explain, don't worry. So I'm trying to set it, then we explain. So prime number is between 1 and 100. For number in range 1, 101, if the number is greater than 1, then I'm setting another condition. I'm trying to set the conditions before I print. Remember I told you this technique. The same thing we do for the nested loops and all that. Always set the conditions. Okay. So I'm trying to set the conditions for I in range 2, the number. Let me set another condition. If the number, okay, if the number, let's say modulo I, which is a temporary variable, is equal to 0, okay, we initialize to 0 or equal to 0, then we are using all of them. Then let's break. When we break, else, all right, else, else we print the number. Simple. We print the number. So here, all that we want to do is we are trying to find the prime numbers between 1 and 100. So for us to get the prime numbers between 1 and 100, we are setting a condition that, okay, for the numbers that we will be holding from the range, which is 1,101, we want to set a condition whereby if that particular temporary variable is greater than 1, and also if for I in range, that a new temporary variable in range of 2, comma the number, which will be the number from here, the temporary variable from this particular range. So you see, we are picking a range from here, starting from 2. And then we are saying that if that particular number is also modulo the I here, the one we will get from here, is equal to 0, then break. Take a break, don't continue. Else, if it doesn't go through any of this, then print the number. Or once it goes through, any of these conditions, print the number. So once I run like this, I'll get a whole lot of prime numbers. Okay, I'll get a whole lot of prime numbers, a whole lot. Okay, you just truncated it. So yes, you wanted to ask a question. Mhm. So this is just for today. There's any question? If you have any question, you can request and come up. Don't forget to join our Discord channel, guys. Yeah, someone wanted to ask a question. Mhm. Mhm. So loops are very powerful. Loops are powerful constructs in Python. Okay, that allows you to execute a block of code in multiple times. Okay, that's the whole point. Loops are like in Python, loops allows you to execute a block of code in multiple times, and by you understanding and using the for and then the while loops along with those loop other control statements like the break, the continue, the pass, I think you can handle a wide range of programming tasks efficiently. So basically, that is the whole point when it comes to loops.